Hey everyone, and welcome to the Chronicle's football pregame show. I'm Brian Mazur, along here with Hank Tucker, and today Duke facing Wake Forest in its first ACC game, and Hank, let's jump right into it. Duke easily handled NC Central last week, 49-6, and offensive play was a huge part. Daniel Jones, in his first start under center, looked very comfortable. Hank, what does Jones and the offense have to do against a much tougher Wake Forest defense today?
Yeah, well, Jones just has to keep managing the game well. Last week he didn't commit a turnover, threw for 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Really played a solid game, and then Jelay Duncan took a lot of pressure off him with 2 rushing touchdowns, had matched a career high with 115 yards. So if Duncan can take some of the pressure off the more inexperienced quarterback, then Duke could really be able to score some points against his tough Wake defense. But it'll be interesting to see how Jones does against his first real test in an FBS opponent.
And Hank, and although Jones played mistake-free under center against NC Central last week, Duke as a team fumbled the ball 6 times. They lost 5 of those fumbles. Some think that today's game between Duke and Wake Forest might be a low-scoring slugfest. How important will it be for the Blue Devils not to turn the ball over?
It'll be very important. Wake won their first game last week against Tulane 7-3. So turnovers are always magnified in low-scoring games. If Duke gives Wake Forest any short fields like they gave NC Central for both their field goals in the second half last week, then Wake could score some points and the game could swing on a field goal or a touchdown like that. So Duke really has to capitalize on their chances when they're in Wake's territory and score, and then not give Wake any easy points when they're backed up in their own territory.
And now moving things kind of to the other side of the football, defensively Duke is going to be facing a 2-quarterback system. Wake Forest head coach Dave Clawson said that both John Walford and Kendall Hinton, a Durham native, will see playing time tomorrow. How does Duke defend these 2 talented quarterbacks?
Well, they both have very distinct skill sets. Walford is their starter. He's a superior passer. He threw for 338 yards against Duke last year, even though he just threw for 79 last week against Tulane, not one of his better performances. But Hinton is a far superior runner. Led the team last year with 7 touchdowns. Scored their only touchdown last week with a rushing touchdown. So it'll be very important for Duke to know which one is on the field at all times and be able to adjust their defense accordingly. And then really stopping the pass against Walford, which the secondary struggled to do last year. He threw for 135 yards. He threw for 338 yards. Cam Sarnay, his tight end, had 135 yards receiving with a touchdown. Sarnay is back also, so it'll be a report for the secondary to really try to disrupt that connection when they couldn't do it last year.
All right, and so Duke will be taking on Wake Forest tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Chronicle Sports, and Hank and I will be back after the game to recap the game tomorrow. So that just about wraps it up here. Brian Mazur along here with Hank Tucker. Hope that you'll join us tomorrow.